welcome back to my channel. So on this episode of Legion, we'll be discussing The Phantom Tomorrow. We had discussed songs from when they have released singles off of this album. Today's episode, we're just going to discuss the whole album in length. We won't go into too much detail about the songs itself, since I had done that in previous episodes. If there's songs that I've missed, that will eventually be discussed in other episodes to come. Before we jump into things, some things I would like to cover in the Black Veil Brides world is the US tour second leg is going to be coming up here very, very soon, so make sure you get your tickets for that. And then of course we have the second leg of the UK and European tour in 2027 for January and February. Tickets and VIP are available for both. Make sure you get those. Of course, Black Veil Brides had their summer sale going on. I didn't get anything, but if you got anything, let me know what you guys got in the comments. I'm hoping that in the next couple of months we'll get some more merch from Black Veil Brides. And as always, the merch that they had for this run was so great. I loved it. I wanted to buy everything, but obviously I did not because I have to save money and be responsible. Another thing is the company Pause had done prints of Uncertainty. You could choose different frames from those music videos and then get prints of them, which I thought was really, really cool. It is based in the UK, or in Europe, so the prices are a little bit higher. Signed one is a little bit more. I didn't buy anything just because I just couldn't afford to, but if you were able to get your hands on a print, I would love to see it. You can tag me on Instagram or Twitter, or if you're in the Black Veil Brides Discord, you can put those there. I think it's such a cool concept and something that's unique and different, so shout out to Pause and shout out to the band for doing this because it's really cool. Well, The Phantom Tomorrow, this album was released October 29th of 2021. Originally it was supposed to be released earlier in the year, but they had moved it back for reasons. I think we had discussed this in previous episodes. Now with this album run, we also got a ton of different tours that were going on. So we had the In-Between tour. That was actually the first tour that I had gone to, first show of Black Veil Brides, and I had gone to the Green Bay one, and that is actually where Brandon had proposed to me. I will insert some pictures here in the video and stuff, but it was such a cool tour. It was really nice to experience that. Green Bay wasn't far from where I was living at the time, so traveling really wasn't a big problem for me, and I got to go with a couple of friends too, and I got to meet my friend Marissa there for the first time, so it's kind of crazy how fast time goes, because 2021 really wasn't that, it doesn't seem like it was that far away, but I mean it's 2026, so 5 years, a lot can change. Also, we got the Trinity of Terror tours, we got all 3 legs. I was able to go to all 3 legs for those, so I did quite a bit of traveling for this album run. I mean, I do a lot of traveling for Black Veil Brides anyway, but I digress. We also got Alive and Burning 2 virtual tours or concerts, and then there were the acoustic ones, shows basically. I remember tuning into a couple of them when I could, and I thought it was such a good way to kind of mitigate the fact that COVID was still happening and they couldn't go on tour quite yet, so they were able to still give us fans something to look forward to and still be able to see and hear the music. And if I'm not mistaken, it was either free or it was like really, really cheap. So I was very glad to have attended one of those too. With the album release, there was an album release party at Hot Topic in Mall of America. I was fortunate enough to go. My friend Bree was actually the one that had won it, but they couldn't attend it because of the traveling costs. So they had asked Hot Topic if they could give it to one of their friends, which happened to be me. I ended up giving Bree a original drawing in exchange for that, and I, even to this day, am so eternally grateful for that opportunity, and it was such a fun experience. Mall of America, I'd been there many times, so it really wasn't too hard for me to get to. It was just a lot of traveling because I had to drive up to the event. I think it was about 4.5 hours from where I was living at the time, and then about a day later I had to drive up to Green Bay for the concert. So it was very close. I was able to make it, thankfully, The travel was totally worth it. It was such a fun event. I met my friend Anna there too, and we got to shop around a little bit. They gave us gift cards to spend, and of course I got some Black Veil Brides merch. And the Hot Topic store in the Mall of America is really cool. It's way better than any of the other Hot Topics near me, so to go back there was exciting. And then about, like, I want to say a year or two after I had gone to that event, I'd gone up to the Mall of America again, and one of the employees that was working there was like, "Hey, you were at this event, weren't you?" I was like, "Yeah, how do you remember me?" I mean, there weren't too many people, but yeah, they had a whole Q&A and everything. I'll insert some clips for that as well, and we could ask questions, and they were live streaming it as well, I believe, and then I think that whole video is still up. I did do a vlog of it that you can watch too. So we got the comic books. There were supposed to be a lot more. Unfortunately, I think there was only 1 or 2 that were released. There were some issues with the company that was supposed to produce them. We were also supposed to get an action figure, a bunch of other things that were promised to us, and that company, this has nothing to do with the band, it was just that company was not the best. So unfortunately, the band and us got screwed over with that. But on the flip side, we had some really cool merch that was released. So we had gotten a rosary with this. I don't know if you guys can see it. I might put some pictures in, but we got rosaries. It is red and black to go with the era. Super cool, super pretty. We haven't had rosaries in quite some time. I'm hoping that eventually we will get more rosaries. Never Take It Off has some for the Vindicate era, so I highly recommend getting those. Got some cool t-shirts, we got sweatshirts, there were some other necklaces and earrings. I had got a pack of the earrings, of course, and then we got vinyls. There were different variations that you could get. There were cassettes, CDs, of course, and then we got a couple of magazines with that. I did get the Outburn one, so I have that sitting on my shelf with a bunch of vinyls. I didn't feel like digging it out because it's kind of a hassle and where it's at. But anyway, we also got, of course, the music videos. We had discussed these before. We got Scarlet Cross, Fields of Bone, Crimson Skies, Torch, and then Born Again, all spread out throughout the whole album run. So it was really nice to have those. The creativity and everything that was put into each music video was very thought out, and the flow made sense. The order that they had to go along with the storyline was nice because, you know, it seemed like almost every music video we were kind of on edge on what was going to happen. So shout out to the band for hooking us like that. Track listing of this album, there are 12 songs. So we got The Phantom Tomorrow, the introduction, we got a little bit more of like orchestral piece with that. Then it goes into Scarlet Cross, Born Again, Blackbird, Spectres, that's an interlude. And then we got Torch, The Wicked One, Shadows Rise, Fields of Bone, Crimson Skies, Kill the Hero, and Fall Eternal. So which song, if you had to choose one, which song was your favorite off of this album? My top favorites are Scarlet Cross, Fall Eternal, and Born Again. The first time that my mom heard Scarlet Cross, she thought that it was saying skull and cross, and so I had to explain it to her that it was Scarlet Cross. This album was actually the one that got my dad into Black Veil Brides. He really liked the flow of things. It wasn't, I mean, it's not as heavy. There are heavy songs off of this album, but it felt more like a hard rock type feel for him, so that's probably why he got more drawn into Black Veil Brides with this album. So I'm very proud of myself for that. As far as I know, this is one of his favorite albums from them. The album itself is a concept record taking elements being observed in society of people idolizing prominent figures, whether they're political or some kind of social media influencer, and looking up to them while also criticizing them. The strange balance of being seen as higher than and being worshipped but also torn down while this person is being corrupt and hypocritical in the things that they say and do. Ultimately, the album encompasses that while sending a message that we can be our own heroes, be empowered, and we can find the strength to overcome things. This is also observed in the storyline that we get with Blackbird and Nine. A lot of this album was inspired by Dante's Inferno, The Ninth Circle of Hell. If you are unfamiliar with it like I was, you can just do a quick Google search and it'll kind of give you a little bit of a rundown with that. I have never read it, so when this album came out and there were hints of that, I had to look it up and educate myself a little bit. Andy discussed this album in length across a bunch of different interviews and articles, and those will be linked in the description below. And here are some of the notable information and quotes from those that I had gathered and I thought were important and relevant to this. The first article that I pulled from is from American Songwriter. That is also linked in the description below if you want to read the whole thing. There's a lot of good stuff in there. So this is what Andy said. I kind of pulled a couple of different things and put them together. And Andy goes, I was interested in the idea of creating a story to be a hero and the things that are so culturally relevant. It's all kind of centered around this idea of those virtuous people. Andy goes on talking about how each song is a snapshot. If you do a painting, you can add to that painting. But with music, you can change it on a cellular level every night. It's a much more fluid opportunity to tell a story. So this is more so, he was more so talking about the writing process with this is constantly changing their ideas and how they wanted things structured. Jake was pulling in elements that Black Veil Brides had never really experimented with before. I believe in one of the articles, Andy was talking about how Jake had brought in this element of EDM music, and Jake had been kind of getting into that with Corey, and I think it's really cool. He pulled a different element that you normally wouldn't think would be in like metal or rock music and put that in to a few of these songs, and it actually ends up being pretty cool when they put it all together and made it work. The writing process of an album, obviously things will change. Even up to the last minute, they might change elements and stuff to make it into what we know today as the Phantom Tomorrow. In another article, this was Alternative Press and Curing are very notable for writing and interviewing about the band and kind of giving us more insights into songs and albums that they release. So shout out to them. So in the Alternative Press article, the article says the album was conceptualized while heavily locked down in the pandemic. The record has many layers. There's Andy's fascination with belief systems framed in subjects both ecclesiastical and political. The Phantom Tomorrow are fighting against the government elite who embrace doctrines best described as obsolete. We see this, of course, with the storyline. We have the Scarlet Cross with the Phantom Tomorrow trying to rise up against the government or the societal norms or society that has kind of pushed them out and thrown them down, and they realize that the rules and the things that that society is trying to implement is very twisted and hypocritical and corrupt, and they want to change that. This whole album itself is more so about being, of course, like Andy said, be your own hero, be your own strength. And I think at that time when this album was released, I feel like that was very riveting and also reflected how Andy wanted things to play out, and with the things that were going on in the world. You know, we had a bunch of different social movements. There were a lot of people feeling uneasy with how things were changing, and kind of having music or an album that kind of gives you comfort and being like, it's okay to feel this way. You can be your own strength, you can be your own hero, even if, you know, society or some larger group tries to tell you not to and make you an outcast or throw you down in some way. So the album itself, I feel like, came at such a critical time, and maybe that is why I felt like we gained a lot of new fans during this era, besides the fact that it was a new album and of course Lonny was in it, so to have like a brand new album with Lonny in it was very exciting in and of itself. Of course we have the night EP, but to have like a full-length album and have him fully involved in everything was new and exciting. So seeing how Black Veil Brides melds together and brings elements that each member is familiar with, so you know, of course we get Jenks with his orchestral and classical type thing, and then Jake was really getting into more of the production side of things and experimenting with that, as well as other genres of music and bringing that in. And of course Andy's genius and artistic mind at work. So I feel like overall this album shaped up pretty good. I wish that people hyped this up a little bit more. I mean, I wish Black Veil Brides albums and songs got a little bit more appreciation than what they do. The Phantom Tomorrow, I thought overall though, got a lot more press and acknowledgement from various sources. Album kind of felt like a little bit of a turning point for the band, and now we see with Vindicate how much hype they've gotten, not just with outlets but on social media as well. So Andy truly is an artist when it comes down to it. He's always putting in, so Andy truly is an artist when it comes down to it. The band always puts in so much into each song and record and music video. The driving forces and inspiration behind this album did not go unnoticed. Drawing from Dante's Inferno, religious undertones, and things that were going on at the time, writing the record, and then translating that, conceptualizing it, and creating something that can be applied to a storyline and people's individual lives and experiences with the message that he and the band wanted to convey, and they did such a fantastic job with that. That is all I have for this album. I could have gone into more detail about some of the tours that we got with this album and my experiences, but I will save that for a different time. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you're subscribed and following me on all my social medias, which are linked in the description below. I will be having a Halloween drop on my Etsy. I did kind of tease it on Instagram and on my TikTok. That will be coming soon, July 30th. There's some cool stuff there. There's keychains and some stickers and then a Halloween card. I am still taking commissions for custom boots and vests. I just got 2 bustiers in. They're a size medium, so if you want to do a custom bustier, it's a tank top or kind of like a cropped tank top. That is an option as well. I'm going to have that going until about the end of August, and then I'll be taking about a month off because I will be getting married, and then I have some other things going on and other projects. But if you're interested in doing any kind of custom or commission piece for me, please let me know. You can hit me up on my Etsy or on my Instagram, and we can set something up there. So I want to thank you guys so much again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Stay rad.